Hold on. So have you not heard that Nikon P1000 is discontinued? End of a compact mega zoom era? Now, if you haven't, okay, there's two lines of thought. One's very, very odd, and the other makes a lot more sense with a little critical thinking. Let's start with the odd one. So the first line of thought that I find, again, very odd is, well, of course Nikon's going to discontinue their mega zoom camera that's cutting edge, top of the line, absolute masterpiece. Of course they're going to. I mean, it makes them tons of money. Why wouldn't they, discontinue and stop making those cameras that's, so good and making them so much money? It makes any sense. Yeah, that's odd. That makes no sense whatsoever. Can we hear answer B, please? Now, the second answer makes way more sense. A little logic thinking is that over the last 5 to 7 years, the Nikon P900 and then the Nikon P1000 camera has been getting a lot of attention, primarily from the flat earth community, because this is what is known as the globe killer. We can now see far beyond the curve, the imaginary never before seen curve, and use observable, testable, repeatable, empirical evidence science to disprove that. Now, that's a problem, right? That can't happen. But, I don't know. You guys tell me. Maybe it's the first one.
So you're telling me we can't trust the Bible because it's written by man? Everything that's ever been written has been written by man. What did you want God to use? Pandas? I mean, seriously, if being written by man means we can't trust it, that means we can't trust anything that's ever been written by anyone, anywhere, ever. Why would we build libraries and fill them with books if we can't trust anything written by man? I mean, seriously, I think it's kind of an absurd argument, but if you still want to believe it and hide behind that argument, don't write it down.
Y'all really think the earth is round? Let me ask you a question. Who took this picture? Who took this picture, and where are the stars? And here's another question. If the earth is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, why are we not just flying off the earth? I know you'll say gravity, but listen to this. Gravity is just a theory. They'll say, no, the sun doesn't go around us, we go around the sun. And then they'll call it a sunrise and a sunset. Explain that. And if y'all haven't caught on to the big lie yet, let me let you in on one more thing. You can't spell Satan without NASA.
What up, fam? It's 2024 and there's still tons of people out there that don't question anything and believe surface level propaganda. Now, with that being said, let's look at an old map of the Earth. Do you notice anything unusual? Anything? This is what we are shown the North Pole is. And this, careful, people actually think this is real, allegedly the North Pole. So with that being said, why do old maps show different land masses with some sort of mountain or rock in the middle? And you're led to believe that now all those land masses are gone and it's just an ice sheet, which you can't go to, by the way. This is why all compasses point north. It's Mount Meru or Rupes Nigra. This is on old maps. This is why all compasses point north, because there's some sort of magnetic force or mountain. So this is what I'm talking about when I say people just blindly believe whatever they're told, surface level propaganda, the North Pole is just an ice sheet. But clearly we look at old maps and there's more land, some sort of magnetic force in the middle, and you guys just have cognitive dissonance and can't even question reality or where we live or that you might have been lied to. Think about it. Why would they not lie about where we live?
People in the 1500s believed the world looked like this. People in the 1600s believed the North Pole looked like this. People in the 1800s, a lot of people in the 1800s believed the world looks like this. Where the f*** did you come from?
Would you say that's the main reason that this lie was perpetrated in your view?
I'd say there's probably about a dozen reasons. I wouldn't even know how to rank them, but I do think separating us from the creator and his creation is one of them. Hiding the other continents. I always liken it to everyone who's seen the Truman Show. Right. Remember when Truman starts to figure out what's going on, he becomes a pain in the butt. Like, he keeps trying to escape and go to Fiji and they have to stop him. Imagine if 8 billion Trumans figured out that you could go beyond the Antarctic ice wall and there were other continents and maybe other, civilizations and other beings and some of these legends that we've heard about and these extinct animals. Who knows what's out there, right? That would be a big problem. So they created a prison planet. They basically took the flat map and they wrapped it around onto a ball and they made the perimeter, Antarctica, just a little icy continent on the bottom. And that's why there's the Antarctic Treaty and nobody's allowed to go there independently.
Right.
And before the naysayers come in and say, you can take a cruise there and government goes there.
I've heard
yes,
that.
but it's very controlled, very specialized. You cannot go independently.
Right.
So they found more land by Brazil? What? An undersea volcano plateau. Rio Grande Rise is what it's called. They have been disclosing Zealandia also, or Te Rio Maui, which is a continent listed on the flat earth models. Pretty interesting. Japan also had a whole bunch of new islands. 7,000 new islands off of Japan? What? Now the earth is not just flat, she is many things. This is just further proof that so many things have been hidden from humanity for so long, to control us really, and they're being forced to disclose so much of it. We're going to hear about even more lands, more different types of beings, more different types of technology. It's all going to be disclosed in the next couple of years, and it already has been too. I am living for it.
The entire world has been deceived on what Antarctica actually is. It's not just some mysterious continent at the bottom of our world. It is an ice wall boundary that circles the entire world, keeping the water in. I'm sure you've seen photos like this and became suspicious. Well, check out what it says in the book of Proverbs 9 verse 27. When he prepared the Shamayim, heaven, I was there. When he decreed a vault on the face of the deep ocean. When he gave to the sea its limit, so that the waters would not transgress his command. Look at that. He placed a vault upon the ocean, so the water would not pass his command. This is actually the map that pilots use. This map is also found in the United Nations logo. Notice how Antarctica's missing? It's because it goes all the way around. They know the truth. Now if you need more proof, go to Google Earth. Go to Antarctica and I want you to select the measuring tool here in the top left corner. Now we can go to any continent. Here's New Zealand, right? And you can basically make a border around it, and then it'll tell you the area that's inside that border you made. Now watch what happens when we do the same thing to Antarctica. Go all the way around and connect it at the end. Boom. Oh, look at that. It turns it into a border, an ice wall. They are required to put the truth right in our faces. All this is prophecy of Luke 12:2 and 3. Right? Whatever is concealed shall be revealed. Whatever is hidden shall be made known. Whatever they speak in the dark shall be heard in the light, and they shall also be proclaiming these things on the housetops. To them it's like a joke. They like to put the truth right in our faces. It's entertainment to them.
Gönder müziği.
So we are on set with Carl Jacobs, and we're going to go to the moon, but this doesn't look like the moon, so we're going to change that. We're going to add the landscape, we're going to add the Earth, and we're going to add our rocket ship home.
Yeah! Here, wait, let me try to add something. Here, take that, all right.
What's this? What's this in the sky? What's this anomaly? Some people say it's the moon. How is the moon below the skyline of the Earth? How is this even possible? What is this? If it's the sun, then I guess the sun is in the Earth's atmosphere, huh? I'm not saying it is. I just want someone to explain to me what this is, because it's weird.
Hey, Glurfs, where are those 6,000 satellites in space responsible for 99% of the communication on the so-called Ball Earth?
Now, 3 undersea cables in the Red Sea have been cut
As a result, global internet and telecommunication traffic of Asia, including India, Europe, and the Middle East, has been rerouted. The sabotage of telecommunication lines could further escalate the months-long crisis.
It's really hard to argue against the localized sun and moon when you see a sun just nestled up in the clouds. You can just see the clouds wrap right around the sun, and look at the localized area. It's all lit up directly next to the sun, and there's always hot spots right next to it. And when you look at the moon through the clouds, you see the immediate area lit up and it slowly fades out. If that were light coming from a source so far away, wouldn't the whole blanket of clouds be uniformly lit? For an illusion, this stuff sure as heck looks like it's a lot closer. Globers insist you need the heliocentric model to make celestial predictions. You can bring up the Antikythera mechanism, which is a geocentric astronomical calculator that was making predictions long before the globe was even proposed. You can bring up how Pythagoras first proposed the globe off of no scientific evidence, just philosophical ideas. And even Copernicus making his assumptions off of stars being other suns. You can even show them the patent of William A. Eisenhower's extension off of Alexander Gleason's map, the transparent layers of celestial constellations that all combine together for celestial navigation over the flat map. But since none of that works, we're going to have to do a thought experiment using common sense and logic. I want you to imagine that the whole world participated in a test where they all got in a hot air balloon, spread out evenly, and went up as high as they could go. Because as high as a balloon can go, Neil deGrasse Tyson says, that stuff is flat. So, going up with a camera, looking down, and snapping a picture. Then everyone comes down and puts all their pictures together, and it turns out looking something like this. Then imagine all those people in the balloons come down and land and grab their telescopes and just look up into the night sky and sit there for 100 years, all talking to each other. Hey, I'm watching this happen. Collect all their data together from the ground, right? Then they'd be able to make predictions. The point is, all the data of a globe that you see was actually just flat map data that had to get wrapped around a ball. Robert Simmons created the blue marble with flat data that he wrapped around a ball. Everything on Google Earth was made with airplanes and balloons. They say they get some of their data from satellites, but as soon as you get above hot air balloon level, things turn to cartoons. And to be quite honest, all the observations that we've made of the celestial bodies above have been from the ground. So this geocentric astronomical calculator was created under the assumption of a geocentric flat plane, but I mean, even today, all we can experience empirically is a geocentric, non-moving flat plane anyway. Even as high as we can go. Remember, Neil deGrasse Tyson said, that stuff is flat. From 131,000 feet. So as high as we can go, all we can experience is flat and level. So all the observations we make is from a flat and level perspective. In fact, the only time we see this is after the fact that we've gathered all the data like this. So when you hear someone say, you can't make any celestial predictions on a flat earth, you need this to make predictions, just show them this video. Today is the 67th year of the passing of Admiral Richard E. Byrd. Richard E. Byrd is the man who explored Antarctica through Operation Deep Freeze. And there's one conspiracy theory surrounding Antarctica that no one really talks about. And that's that he found the firmament. And God said, let there be a vaulted dome in the midst of the waters. Let it cause a separation between the waters. Vaulted Dome is brought to you by the Lexham English Bible, which pride themselves on transparency in translating closest to the Greek as possible. Those of you builders know that a vaulted dome can be a pain in the butt when trying to build one. But in this case, we think that the vaulted dome he found was belonging to God. Operation Deep Freeze gave Admiral Byrd the opportunity to venture far into Antarctica and name a region after his wife, and name several other regions: Dome Fuji, Dome Argus, dome circle, oddly placing those regions exactly where a dome would be if you were to take the globe and stretch it out to the flat Earth model. You can see a dome right around there. Soon after Admiral Byrd's passing, NASA was established and the Antarctic Treaty was put in place, keeping everyone but the government out of Antarctica. They call us flat earthers crazy, but we don't need therapy. We just need to go to Antarctica and see if our theories of Operation Fishbowl in 1962 are correct, which was an operation sending rockets straight up with TNT to hit something. Doesn't it look familiar? Got the impact point in the center and all the shrapnel flying out. That's not even the craziest part. They named each of these rocket launches. One was named Bluegill, one was named Starfish, and another Kingfish. So God placed the vaulted dome to separate the waters from above from the waters below. And look, Fishbowl was a part of a larger operation called Dominic. And look what Dominic means. Belonging to God, or of the Lord, or of the Master. That's the fishbowl of the Lord. So are your rockets fish out of water and you're trying to send them back into the waters above? But how do burning balls of gas exist if there's water up there? Have you heard about a star in a jar?
Seth Putterman called it the star in a jar, a tiny spot of bright light contained in a flask of liquid. This star in a jar is made when a sound wave is passed through a small bubble inside a flask of liquid. And this sound wave makes the bubble do something remarkable. First it expands, then it collapses. And this collapse happens so violently that vapor molecules trapped inside the bubble slam together and heat up so much that the bubble gives off an incredible burst of heat and light, several thousand times a second, giving the appearance of a star.
It's not the only time light has existed in a watery place. What about the spark of light when a human egg is fertilized? There's a spark of light in the womb during human conception. Just some things to think about. But until then, rest in peace, Admiral Byrd. We see you, brother.
Ball Earth believers seem not to understand how airplanes fly. They think when an airplane flies over the flat Earth, the pilot has to be constantly steering the airplane right or left. No, this is not how an airplane flies on the flat Earth. As an example, let's look at this flight from Quito in Ecuador to Nairobi in Kenya. Both cities are right at the equator. The way it's done is like this. You trace a straight line between the two cities. This is called a great circle route. A great circle route is a straight line cutting through the latitude lines. As you can see, there's no need to be constantly steering the airplane to the right or to the left. On the other hand, if we pick the same two cities on the ball Earth, we have a problem. The pilot would have to be constantly adjusting the nose of the airplane downwards due to the curvature of the Earth. There is no other way around this since Earth curves 8 inches per mile squared. Since we know airplanes do not adjust for the curvature of the Earth, we know that the Earth is flat. Just remember, on the flat Earth, you draw a straight line between the two cities and fly straight and level. On the ball Earth, the pilot has to be constantly adjusting the nose down due to the curvature of the ball Earth. Since we know airplanes do not adjust for the curvature of the Earth, we know that the Earth is flat.
The flat Earth map dates back over 1,000 years. This map is credited to being created by a Persian astronomer. His name was Al-Biruni, and he lived between 973 AD to 1048 AD. It's the official map of the United Nations and also the United States Geological Survey. It used to be present in many places before the creation of NASA and the Antarctic Treaty in 1959. Here you see it with Admiral Byrd. This map has been restored by Dmitry from Russia with suggestions of mine, Idialenkar. Known by my YouTube channel Flat Earth Banjo, I asked Dmitry to include the Bermuda Triangle and Point Nemo, a place deep in the Pacific where NASA buries rockets. Then Robert Tozzi, a professional mapmaker, came along and enhanced the map even more. There are many people now selling this map online, but if you could order it from my online store, I would greatly appreciate it. Visit my online store now and order one of the items. I humbly thank you.